Hey there, I'm Sully, and as always, welcome to the Gun Club. All right, got a few things to go over. Not going to be a big show tonight. It's going to probably be shorter than some of what we've done, but had a few thoughts and a few things I wanted to cover and touch base on, and a couple things I wanted to tell you all about. Figured I'd go ahead and set up a midweek stream. I don't know about y'all. These Tuesday nights seem to be working a little bit better for me just with my schedule and with my teaching schedule and stuff. So we may be doing a lot of the weekend updates on Tuesdays. Hope that's okay with everybody. I try not to do Mondays. I know a lot of people seem to stream on Mondays and Wednesdays. To me, the Saturday evenings was doing okay, Saturdays or Sundays. But nowadays, really, a lot of people seem to be more involved with the whole college or NFL football scene. And Tuesday night seems to be pretty much an open night. There's not a lot of high school activity. I'm not fighting versus Friday Night Lights, and I'm not dealing with Monday Night Football. They're now announcing double Monday Night Football because of the writer's strike. And so Tuesday seems to be a good wide open day to sort of throw it in there, not mess with anybody's Wednesday nights or church nights on Wednesday or Thursday night football or Friday night lights, etc. So Tuesday seems to be where I'm going to be putting up a lot of these streams in the future. Hope it works for everybody. If not, you can always catch it on the replay gang down below. As always, please check us out. If you first time here, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Go ahead and click on the follow. Join us up. It's free to follow us. That way, at least you get notified when I do put out new videos or new streams. Got a few things I'm working on right now. And also, check us out. Give us a thumbs up either on Rumble or on YouTube or anywhere you're watching, because it does help the channel and it helps build it up. The more we can build it up, the more positive momentum we can build, the more stuff we can do. And of course, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. Not always able to do all the stuff I want to do, unfortunately. First off, I want to touch base real quickly. I know last week I did the stream on New Mexico. Our lovely governor out in New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham, who had, pretty much trampled all over the Second Amendment and passed a public health order, not a law, didn't go through the legislature, didn't go through any legislative process. She just basically issued an executive proclamation. Queen Michelle Grisham hereby decrees, or decreeth, I guess it would be, that thou shalt not carrieth thy firearmeth in anywhere in Albuquerque or Bernalillo County. She got a lot of pushback, of course, not only from her local law enforcement, county law enforcement, said they wouldn't touch it. Her state attorney general said, I know it's my job to defend you, but I can't even defend this. It's not constitutional. I thought that's really funny. And of course, there were numerous lawsuits filed by all of our favorite agencies, National Association for Gun Rights, GOA, FPC, of course, was in there, SAF, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, all the big alphabet agencies were in there, as well as a couple of plaintiffs individually. The judge had an emergency hearing on that on the 13th and put what he called basically a temporary injunction on it, whereby they could not enforce her 30-day order. Period. The end. It was done. Now, coming out of this, and she admitted when she put it in, she didn't know if it would do any good or not, or would it would even survive an appeal or a challenge. So, okay. She cited 3 cases. We went over them in the last stream, where 3 children had been tragically killed. 2 of them out in public, 1 of them actually at someone's house. But this was a reason, her reason is a public health emergency. You can't carry in public. Okay. Well, instead of just her saying, well, I tried, I'm going to leave it alone, I'm going to back out of it, she's updated her order as of the 15th and stated that now it was supposed to be in public anywhere in those places in Albuquerque or Bernalillo County. Now it is just in parks and playgrounds in Albuquerque or Bernalillo County. Okay. Now, none of the shootings that she cited in her press conference And you can go back, find the press conference on local. She talked about these 3 tragic shootings where these children were killed. Dead children, dead children, dead children. These children, what about their rights? Well, she cited them and talked all about them, but none of these that occurred happened in a park or a playground. So she has now decided that she is going to use a park or a playground. You can't carry in a park or a playground because of 3 shootings that did not happen in a park or a playground. Once again, we're watching the same routine of a legislator fixing a problem that didn't really exist, coming up with a rule that doesn't solve the problem she did identify. If she identifies a problem, come up with something that'll fix it. If you're coming up with rules that don't make sense, and again, if it doesn't pass the make sense test, chances are it won't work. So now you can't carry on park or a playground. Now, what I think, in my humble opinion, like I'd know anything about this, she forgets is that, parks or playgrounds, typically people go with their kids. So I guess if you take your kid to a park or playground in Albuquerque or Bernalillo County, since you're not allowed to carry concealed, even if you have a permit, you cannot conceal or open carry at all. She's just made all the parks and playgrounds gun-free zones. Now, those of us who have studied this know how well gun-free zones work. 96% of the time, it's where we're having mass shootings. So, good job, Michelle Lujan Grisham. You went stupid a couple of weeks ago. This past week, you upgraded it, trying to undo your stupid, and you just did stupid even better. Again, I'll talk about this a little bit later because I do have some thoughts on it. But it's one more time of, solving a problem that didn't exist or trying to solve a problem and coming up with something so innately stupid that it won't work. And if it doesn't work, well, then she'll want to do more. It's one more reason for her to come up with some executive decree, and it doesn't make sense. I see we've got a bunch of people checking in over on Rumble. Folks, please pound the plusy, give us a thumbs up over there. If you've got a question about something on Rumble or on YouTube, go ahead and holler. We do have the comments open on both. Please feel free to hit me up on anything. The second thing I want to talk about is a firearm review. Had a new set of firearms, or a new type of firearm, come across my radar recently. And I've been sort of looking around, and I look a lot, and it's the PSA Admiral series. PSA is Palmetto State Armory, for those of you not in the Southeast. Now, I don't work for PSA, Palmetto State Armory. I don't get paid. I don't get bonuses. They don't buy me guns. They don't buy me nothing. But I do kind of like some of their stuff, and I've spent a little bit of money there in my time. And usually, I've been pretty satisfied with most of their firearms. As such, I wanted to look into this Admiral series a little bit more. Now, their Admiral series is made up of 3 guns, which are basically all 1911 M1 style firearms. The first one, or the low budget, or the bargain basement version of it, and I really hate to call it low budget because, well, it's not a real low budget gun, although it's a very affordable gun, is the Admiral M1911A1. It's 45 ACP, very standard 1911 frame, 45 caliber, very, very similar to what you'd expect. Now, while it is a base model, this one runs, I believe, $399 on their website. So for $399 to get a base model 1911, definitely decent. It only does have the right-handed safety. It doesn't have the ambidextrous safety. Doesn't have any of the fancy upgrades. GI spec slide on it, just the standard serrations. But, for what it is, for $399 to get a base model, and it's something you can work on and work your way up. The next one up is also, again, a 45 ACP. This one is the Admiral. It's the 45 ACP Tactical Edition. I guess it's a move up from the standard. This is a tactical. The big changes on it, it's got a upgraded trigger, upgraded hammer on it. If you notice, the slide serrations are a little bit different. than they were on the other one. It's got both the forward slide serrations as well as the standard serrations. We look here, the other one doesn't have the forward slide serrations. Also has a slightly upgraded, they call it a double diamond grip. Okay, fine, it's cute, whatever. You know, to me, the big change between these is the upgraded trigger and hammer and the ambidextrous safety on this one. Now, this one, again, is not a bargain basement special. It's not no high point or nothing, but it's $4.99. And again, if you're looking at getting into and getting a classic style 1911 model, I mean, we all know 1911s, if you get into the Wilsons and the Kimbers and everything else, you can drop 2-3Ks all the way on up on a top line 1911. Not everybody can do that. But if you're looking for a good base model 1911, this one definitely fits the bill. The next one I've got sort of mixed emotions about. It is also a 1911 A1. However, instead of being in 45 ACP, it's in 10 millimeter. It does have the upgraded trigger and hammer that the other one has. In addition, this one also has the bezel around the magazine port, but it does not have the front serrations, and it's got the standard GI serrated slide. Again, when you look at any of these, they're not, bad firearms. They're not super cheap firearms. This one comes in about $550. So when you look at between $400 to $550 for any of these PSA Admirals. Now, what's a PSA Admiral? Well, I had to go up to the store and I decided to talk to the guys up there and see what they thought of them. What had they heard about them? Well, they haven't had them in there that long. And the guy said he had not heard any complaints about any of the ones he had sold. He also told me that they're actually not made directly by PSA. They're made by Rock Island Armory for PSA. And he said, he's had Rock Island stuff before and it's functioned fine. I've got a couple of shotguns from Rock Island over the years that I've had very good performance with. So Rock Island seems to be, again, it's not a Kimber or Wilson or, competition model, but for, again, a base model functional handgun in either the 45 or the 10 millimeter, any of these, but again, the price point of, $400 to $550, you're not going to beat that price point for a 1911 model anywhere, really, unless you just get something that's true low budget garbage. It was very tempting to me. And as you know, if you tempt me with a firearm purchase, I'm liable to do something. Well, after handling them all and looking around, I actually really liked this one here with the magazine bezel and everything else on it. However, my inner FUD told me that buying a 1911 model, again, 2 world wars that this thing won, short and fat will do the job, told me that buying a 1911, a classic firearm design, patented by John Moses Browning back February 14th, Valentine's Day of 1911, in 10 millimeter, it seemed almost sacrilegious. Kind of like you go to the traditional Irish Catholic Mass and the preacher shows up in tie-dye and flip-flops. It's like, whoa, Padre, what's up? We're missing something there. This would be, it's almost as bad as painting Hello Kitty on like an AK-47. It's a little sacrilegious there. So I went with this one. I went with the Admiral and the Tactical. And again, not because it said Tactical on it, but I do like the front slide serrations so you can do your easy press checks. I also like this one had adjustable sights, whereas the model below this one actually just has the fixed sights, GI sights in the groove. So I went with it, said, well, for $4.99, can I really go wrong? Took it out to the range over the last few days, and I got to say, I have kind of an interesting little road test on it. Shooting it. Shot fine, shot great. Had two different kinds of ammo. One was like a Winchester range ammo, and one was a federal, not federal, but another quality range ammo, just straight, round nose, full metal jacket stuff. And it fed it all fine, fired great, no problems, no misfires, no failure to fires, no problems ejecting. I will say that out of the box, the sights were just a hair low at about 15, 20 yards. And when I say just a hair low, if I had a textbook perfect sight picture, I'd come in about that low at about 15 yards. If I just modified my sight picture a little bit by just raising my front sight up to the point it had about half the front sight poking out above the rear sights, I was on point. Now, this has adjustable sights. I really didn't have time, effort, or energy that day to break out and start adjusting and dialing in sights. And I was at an indoor range and I could only go 20 yards. So I did what I could. And honestly, for me to, draw and fire with it, once I thought about and had a little bit of practice, I was point on. I was able to hit the numbers at 20 yards. So I had just standard B-27 target, and I could put it on anything, and I dialed it right in where it was going to be, just with a little minor correction with my eyesight. So it's going to be, dialed in, going to learn a little bit better. Put about 100 rounds through it. No problems, no failures at all. Interesting, again, in researching this a little bit more and talking to the guy there, every one of these PSA Admirals comes with a lifetime warranty. Now, a lifetime warranty by Palmetto State Armory, to me, that's kind of a good thing. I mean, you're buying something that's an expensive investment, $400 or $500, and you're saying, okay, I could be spending, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $1,000 on this. I'm kind of going on the lower end. Is this going to be something that tears up? Is this going to be good, or is it going to be junk? I don't want to waste my money. With the way PSA stands behind their stuff and the lifetime warranty, and the fact it's got a quality, it's Rock Island makes it for them, I thought it was worth the try. And I'm not disappointed at all in it. I've got to say, the goods function well, solid, reliable. I'm going to have to maybe tweak the sights a little bit at some point, for what it is. If I'm that difference or off, 3 to 4 inches at 20 yards, but dead on, that's pretty good at 20 yards for a handgun. And again, I'm not talking from rest, I'm talking from in hand. So, real good. Now, that being said, when I purchased it, it comes with this nice little locking case. Again, pretty decent quality case. Nothing, super, bulletproof. It does have a place to put locks on it and everything else. And I was kind of impressed. Now, I've bought Smiths. I've bought a couple of different Smiths, and usually you get the typical, blue and white box. I've bought some other stuff that's Palmetto State Armory or PSA, and a lot of times you get the gray PSA box, their design box. Okay, great. But all those boxes are cardboard. They're temporary. They may have some foam or some wrapping in them, but, when it actually came with a storage box, I was a little bit impressed. I was, wow, okay. They're throwing in a decent, storage case. Now, that being said, PSA, you did it right on the case, and I really like it. I think you get your gold star on that one. Now, that being said, and I've said the good side, I'm going to say the bad side. In this case, of course, it came with a little chamber flag and some other stuff. It was all wrapped in plastic when I got it. It was very well lubricated and everything else. It also came with an owner's manual. Now, that being said, I'm going to go up on the big screen here, and I'm going to show you what the owner's manual kind of looks like. Because, well, we have a problem. Here's the owner's manual. It came with it. It's the PSA Admiral. If you notice the staple on the front here and here, not really in the spine of the book. And this is the owner's manual. You can see here, it's got a little parts list and everything. And I mean, I could bring this up close on screen, and here is what it looks like. It's got all the, specs or whatever for it. And then later on, it's got parts lists and stuff in the back. Again, just stapled right there, not on the spine or anything. PSA, guys, if you're listening, please hear me out. You've got a really nice, decent quality firearm. You package it in a really nice, decent quality case. You put it together and you finish your presentation of this with a operator's manual or a welcome to Admiral that looks like it was done in somebody's 5th grade learning center class. You cheapened the entire experience. PSA, guys, you've got a cool logo here. If you look on their website, they've got this cool gold Admiral logo. I think I might be even pull it up here on my side. You've got a really, really nice, firearm that you could definitely be very, very proud of. And you could really do a lot with this line of firearms. And I'd say, hey, more power to you. I love it. I think you did great. Isn't life going to be grand? And at the same time you've done that, you've managed to cheapen it so much with that. And the stupid part is, most people, they get it. They may not read the book right off, but at some point, they're going to sit down and they're going to glance at, here's their owner's manual, which again looks like it was typed up as a 5th grade project. Get somebody who can do a little bit of work with either Microsoft Publisher or MS Word or something else. Fix this. It should not take you much. Once you get it done, designed and laid out, you can do it and you can put this much better together and really do something with these Admiral firearms. I mean, you can tell just looking at your website, you put a lot of effort into the, PSA Admiral firearms. You're just starting to do a lot of your own stuff, like you've got your Saber line and everything else. You're doing great work on it. And I, would definitely not hesitate to buy an Admiral again. I would not hesitate to get another one. If you come out with another couple of Admirals in like 45 or something like that, or if you do one, let's say maybe even emulating the beautiful Browning high power, because, well, we know I'm kind of a high power fiend. But on the other side of that coin, you can't do something this cheap and expect, good results on it. You really don't. And that's just my opinion for what it's worth. Here's their website here. It shows the 3 choices. The one I got's the one on the far left there. The one on the center is the 10 millimeter one. I just couldn't go with that. The Admiral series, the 1911 handguns, exclusively made for PSA by Rock Island Armory. Handgun blends timeless aesthetics with contemporary functionality, catering to enthusiasts and collectors, stating a reliable and versatile sidearm. Oh, isn't it great? Here's the 3 of them here. And you know what? The price points on them is fantastic. The overall fit and function of it, again, I have the mid-grade one here. Again, you can see slightly more aggressive serrations on it, plus the ambi safety on this one. This one's got the ambi safety, but it's a 10 millimeter in the middle. And then the one on the far right doesn't have the ambi safety, so kind of lost me on that one. But folks, this manual makes the entire gun situation, everything, it cheapens it. I say this as just somebody who loves your stuff, loves your guns, spend good amount of my time there. I've been to 2 or 3 of your stores. You're right up the road from me here. I'm a big proponent. not wanting to drag you down, but really wanting to give you a little bit of tough love. These have the cool little Admiral logo up here. If you can see right above the safety on the center one there, they've got the little Admiral put in the side of it. Definitely great done. It seems to be very well made. Fire's great. But if I have to tell you to do something, clean up your damn manual. And, do something else that's not 10 millimeter because, 10 millimeter, for those of us who are old school purists, well, 10 millimeter isn't a 1911. Two world wars would tell me otherwise. But hey, what can I say? I'm an old fart. Alrighty, that's about all I've got gun-wise for today. But I do want to, sort of do something different for a second here. And I want to have a moment of thought. In conjunction with when I went up to the range with this, had a couple of individuals up there with me. And two people who I consider to be, really nice, super wonderful human beings. Both very, very, very novice. They don't get to the range much. One of them has been to the range, I think, once before in her life. It was with me. She, has fired a couple things, not much. She has purchased a firearm, but hasn't really had much chance to practice with it. And with her was her daughter, who is, I'd guess mid-30s, very intelligent lady who works in an office job, one of those normie 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs. But I drugged them out to the range with me for a little recoil therapy. Now, neither one of these people would probably make much of an effort to go to the range on their own. They probably went with more, hey, when are you going to the range? When are we going to the range? When are we going to the range? Because I know that one of them was going to be buying a gun. I knew she had done that. And the daughter had told me that mom had bought the gun. And the other one, well, I knew the daughter wasn't going to go to the range on her own. Guys, for those of y'all and girls, I'm not going to be misogynist at all. And in fact, I was going out to one of my friendly neighborhood firearms instructors. I know quite a few great female firearms instructors, so I'm not trying to throw them out of this at all. Your normie friends, with what's going on in the world, if you are a gun girl or a gun guy, your normie friends need you to coach them to get their butts to the range. Need you to coach them a little bit. Now, I'm not saying push them into doing something they don't feel comfortable doing or don't want to do. But the thing is, for them, it is walking into a world of outer space. If you have never done anything whatsoever working on cars and you walk into a auto repair shop and like an auto parts place, you feel like you're fish out of water. If you've never done anything with woodworking or home improvement or anything else, and you're suddenly looking at buying tools in Lowe's, you're a fish out of water. There are certain things that we would just either become comfortable with or we're brought up doing and we're comfortable with. I'm comfortable. I can think of 4 ranges right now off the top of my head that I'm comfortable walking in and saying, hey, I want to do some shooting today. Hey, I need a little recoil therapy today. I was in the neighborhood, had some time, and I've got a gun on me, so I'm going shooting. I've got membership at, one range or 2 ranges that I pay for, so I can walk in pretty much anytime and, get some practice. Your normie friends, it's not like that. For them, it's a stretch. For them, it's a discomfort level. It's the same thing as anything. Something you do routinely every morning, going outside, putting your keys in your car, starting your car, driving down the road, radio, whatever. You don't even think about it. For them, they're a fish out of water. They don't do on their own because they're not quite comfortable yet. They need you to help them get comfortable. And that's something that we need to do. And we need to do it for our friends who Again, they're not in the gun thing. Now, if they're anti-gun and they don't want it, and the hell no, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? If they have the least bit of interest, encourage that, build that interest, be the ambassador, be the one who sort of coaches them ahead. One of these days, we're going for recall therapy. I have no problem with picking up my phone right now and texting the daughter and saying, oh, by the way, next Saturday, I think we need to go to the range because you and your mom need recoil therapy. Now, am I forcing anyone to do anything? No. Would they probably do it if I didn't coax them to do it? I bet you no. But yet, one of these days, what's going to happen? I mean, those of us who are carrying, those of us who are comfortable carrying and built our skills, and we need to help teach the rest of the world that right now. We're going to be the ones who teach people how to be self-sufficient and self-defenders and family protectors. And again, so I don't care whether it's, well, I don't want to go. I don't, is it you don't want to go or you just can't make that time? When's a good time for you? When can we do it? Hey, I get you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. What are you doing that Saturday? Let's go on up Saturday. Let's go to the range. Come on. It'll do you some good. Get out of the house, get some recoil therapy. You know what? We can build that, and we need to be building that. And we need to help these folks get to be more comfortable. By that same token, if you know those people who have gone out and they've got a gun, and maybe they've got a gun and taken a CWP class, or they've got a gun, they just did a basic firearms 101. If they're not practicing, maybe a little bit of coaching, a little bit of love from us. And I'm not saying, again, being mean, you're not showing up at, 7 o'clock in the morning and banging on a trash can, telling them to get their ass out to the range. No. What you are doing is you're coaching them. Like I said, for me to get up, throw on clothes and say, it's raining today, I'll go shoot an indoor range. Or, oh boy, beautiful day outside. I think I'll go down to the outdoor range. May break out one of the ARs and take it out to 50 yards, 100 yards, put a few rounds to it. That's normalcy to me. But your friends who won't go there without you, they're not comfortable. They're not familiar. We need to be those ambassadors who say, it's okay. We'll come onto the range for me a few times. Once you get to know people there and you get to feel comfortable there, build that up. Because you know what? Heaven forbid, they need to use that gun that they bought that's been sitting in mothballs forever. And they're more scared of it than the bad guy is, and they get it taken away from them. Or, heaven forbid, they're trying to do something and they've forgotten and they haven't had practice in so long and they accidentally forget to clear a chamber. We need to be teaching that stuff. Those of us who are pro firearms, we need to make sure, take our normie friends out. I know, people in my office know I'll have those days. It's like, gun club day. We're going to the range. Hey, I got this new 45. We're going to the range. Hey, I got this new folding carbine. I need to get some pictures of it. Let's go out to the range. We can teach them one time. That's okay, great. Get them the next time. Get them the next time. Get them the next time. Little by little, they'll build up new habits. Again, if you do something every day, you get out of bed in the morning, and if I've been drinking this much coffee, first thing I do is, I got to go in and take a whiz. Okay, fine. Get up, open my eyes, get dressed, maybe blaze up a cigarette. You know what? That's my routine. For me, I'm comfortable walking into my local grocery store, the local sub place, the local pizza place, the local ranges, wherever. Those are things I'm comfortable with. Same way when you go out of town, you might be a little bit uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. You're not comfortable there. Get them comfortable in the ranges. Be the ambassador who brings them to the ranges. I'm sure the range folks would love to see new faces all the time. I know that I've got a private group I'm going with doing probably Thursday of this week. I'm taking a couple of other people to the range. I don't think it's a husband and wife. I don't think the wife even knows where the range is yet. We're taking them to a range, giving them a chance to get familiar with that thing that he bought a year ago. That's the way we're going to build it up. But again, you're the gun person. Build it, build it, build it, build it, and help these people. I will also say that she and her lovely little mama did absolutely great that day. there were definitely some struggles and there's some comfort level stuff, but we left out of it. And I told both of them, look, y'all did great for someone who hasn't been to a range in a year plus. But the thing is, we need to get doing this more. And we actually went to a range that was closer to Mama's house than my house. And I'm like, I'm bringing you up here to get you used to these guys in this place so you can feel comfortable of an evening coming up here with your daughter without me. My goal is, eventually, I don't want to get rid of them or anything, but my goal is eventually that Mama and daughter will be like, yeah, rough day at work, meet me at the range. Because that's what I do. All righty. Well, folks, that's all I've got. Be smart, be safe, take care of yourselves. Bye.